Welcome back. At the just concluded week-long meetings of the IMF and the World Bank in Washington, D.C. in the United States, Nigeria's Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele spoke about some of the policies which the CBN used to help the country come out of economic recession. Here's what he said.
Our reserve has risen close to about 50. It's about 48 rather. It's 47.93 as I speak with you. But it's not to say that it cannot come down. It's like it's a fluctuating number. You make payments, you receive money, and you make payments and all that. So if tomorrow you hear it has dropped from 47.9 to 47, and then maybe from there moves to 50 and all that, please don't be surprised, so that I don't want to raise everybody's hope that it will be 50 tomorrow. But even though we're working towards it, but I think it's important that we all know that it's a fluctuating number. And going back to the issue of the importance of reserves, we came to a meeting where one of the major advice that was given is that there is a need to save for a rainy day, and that we must continue to rebuild reserves. That means that that Nigeria's decision to build its reserve from as low as 23 billion in October 2016 to almost 48 billion today is a decision in the right direction. So, and we are going to continue to do so, because it's important. If we had reserves when we were hit by the exogenous shock, we will not suffer the recession that we suffered. It would have been possible for us to defend our positions. And there is a very strong likelihood that there could also be reversals. The Minister of Finance talked about U.S. Fed normalization. Interest rates will go up. When interest rates go up in this environment, what happens is that the emerging markets and the frontier markets will lose those monies that came in. So when there's a reversal, we need to be able to prepare ourselves that when this happens, that we should be able to withstand the shock, and so we are not caught pants down again. A question about the inflation target. We would love as much as possible to have inflation as low as possible. Last month, inflation was put at 13.3%. We are hoping that in 2018 we should achieve very, very low double digit, and if we are lucky, high single digit for 2018. And I think with that, we will be seen to be moving in the right direction. Will CBN continue to tighten? I keep saying that the Monetary Policy Committee has the primary mandate for monetary and price stability. It's a meeting of 12 eminent people who come in and take data, and based on that they take the decision. At this time, yes, we are still in the mood of tightening, and indeed, even the IMF reports have reported that that our position to tighten is the right one at this time when we are working very hard to rein in on inflation. But I can assure all of us, like I've said before, and let it be on record if you want to, that we will not tighten in perpetuity. At some point, we will begin to loosen, and I believe that those financial accommodation periods are coming on very, very soon. Financial inclusion target, yes, you are very correct. We have an 80% target for financial inclusion for 2020. It's been slow in the last 2 years. We are just about 48%. I know it's an aggressive target to expect that we're going to hit about 80% in 2020. What have we done? We've been holding meetings with very, very important stakeholders. Up to last week, we were holding meetings between Central Bank, the NCC, the deposit money banks, even the mobile network operators, about how we can all work together and collaborate. We are taking a study of some of the models in different jurisdictions, and I believe that in the course of, say, by around middle of next month, a final framework will be released under which we can all ramp up mobile money and financial inclusion in Nigeria. Just wait and see what we release, and I believe we are going to come up with a structure that is Nigerian, not just going to other jurisdictions and copying what they are doing. What is good for Nigeria is what we would eventually come up with. Power operators, I think, again, I would love that you leave those issues about power, energy, guarantees to the Minister of Power, because he is eminently qualified to take those decisions. But I'm aware that payments are being made to all the creditors, because those payments are being made by Central Bank of Nigeria, and there is no case of default in making payments at this time. Update on currency swap with China. I had read in Guardian about a month ago that it appears that the whole arrangement has failed. You are not correct, Guardian, if you are here. It hasn't failed, but you must agree with me that transactions of this nature would usually involve very strenuous engagements between the countries and the central banks. I can give you my word that we are expecting excellent results very, very soon, and I think it's better for me to leave it there for now, so that by the time the release comes, it will be breaking news about it, and I'm sure Nigerians will be happy when those results are out. Dirty notes, cost of processing. Yeah, looks like the banks told you to tell us that the cost of processing is high. We will try and see what can be done to make it. But the point is we keep printing, Nigeria Security Printing, keep printing those notes. But of course, population is rising. Only last week I read a population of 198 million, which is sadly growing very fast. I'm sure you know what I mean by sadly growing very, very fast, because we have a mandate, we have a responsibility to make sure that we also provide for all this. We'll look at the issues, but I do know that new notes have been issued, to the extent that our director currency and the banks and the market associations are working together towards ensuring that those currencies are indeed delivered directly into the market, to ensure that people feel the impact of what we're doing.
That's the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele. Now let's talk crude oil price. Now it's the sixth consecutive day of gains at the crude oil market as supplies tighten amid strong demand lifted by supply cuts led by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. Brent crude futures were trading at $75.20 per barrel in early trade, and that's the highest since November 2014. U.S. crude futures stand at $68.98 a barrel, and that's up 34% from their last close. OPEC's efforts to tighten markets are led by Saudi Arabia, where state-controlled oil firm Saudi Aramco is pushing for higher prices ahead of a partial listed planned for next year. And the Zimbabwean government says it's committed to clearing debt obligations with the World Bank, African Development Bank, and other financial institutions. The country needs to clear about $1.8 billion in arrears with the World Bank and the African Development Bank before it can tap other sources of development financing. In 2016, Zimbabwe paid off 15 years' worth of arrears to the International Monetary Fund. Meanwhile, the country's foreign minister, Sibusiso Moyo, says Zimbabwe is in the process of re-establishing its membership of the Commonwealth. Zimbabwe left the organization of 53, mostly former British colonies, in 2003, after then-President Robert Mugabe, who had ruled from its independence in 1980, was criticized over disputed elections and land seizures from white farmers. And that's our program today. Thank you for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.